Discuss this further. I'm now being joined on the program from Abuja by Ikenga Ugochinyere, who is the spokesperson of CUPP. Ikenga, thank you very much for joining us on the program. I know shortly after that court ruling, you came out blasting and condemning it. But tell me exactly what you have against the court ruling and what your organization too has against the court ruling.
First of all, when the opposition coalition, the CUPP, went to court, they never imagined that we can have this kind of judgment that we had on the judgment day that the appeal court delivered. Yes, all along we have suspected that or had doubt whether the appeal court will have the balls to set the record straight. What happened on the judgment day was very shocking because the law was turned upside down. The judgment to us in opposition, with all due respect to the justices of this appeal court, was very provocative. The law was turned upside down. There was poor evaluation of facts. There were even non-evaluation of facts. For instance, the same tribunal said that if you are not a maker of a document, you cannot tender it, and they will not attach any much value to it. That was the ground upon which they refused to attach evidential value to the evidence to produce to show that Buhari's certificate was not with the military council. But few minutes after, the tribunal accepted the validity of exhibit R19 and R20. R19, for those of us who don't know, is the Cambridge certificate that Abba carried. We don't know how he flew it from Cambridge to Abuja. That was the document he tendered in court. And I will ask you, is Abba the maker of the Cambridge certificate? Why didn't the tribunal say they will not accept that evidence because the maker, which is Cambridge, is not here to tender it? But the question is,
I mean, yes, this judgment was somewhat unanimous. Could all four justices now have made a mistake?
Of course, they had a conference. To us, the judgment is like an essay writing that was designed to perfect or find a way to stamp Buhari's continue stay in office. They had a conference and they agreed. Whatever was their motivation, we don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that in trying to rationalize why President Muhammad Buhari should remain in office, they turned the law upside down. They brought in a lot of contradiction. Let me even ask you, you watched the judgment. I saw your people there. Did you ask yourself, where is the testimony by the witness of the president, the schoolmates, who said categorically that the military council is not holding their certificate? How come the tribunal omitted such important evidence in its summary? In that case, you don't want to bring in credible information that would have helped to prove the case of
But you also had the definition of, what it means to have a school certificate, the definition given by one of the judges there.
Let me even explain, because this is one of the issues that people have been modeling up facts. That the president is eligible to contest office, with all due respect, it has to do with the provisions of that section, I think 177 of the Constitution, is not in that. Even his military training, the record and the courses he has attended is enough. But the question is that what he filled? The answer is no. Even an auto mechanic workshop certificate that is the equivalent to WAEC is enough for you to run an election. The question we are asking, the information the president provided is from CF001, which turned out to be false, is enough ground for his candidature to be nullified. And let me inform you, if you go to Form CF001, Form CF001 was made important to the Electoral Act, so it's a legal document. After filling your academic qualification, there is a bracket down that is always in red, where you should attach the certificate that you talked about in front. Now, the man in his Form CF001 have two affidavits. One is the one that is inside the Form CF001, where he said all the information he's giving to the best of his knowledge is true. And then another is a separate affidavit the president made, where he said his academic qualifications and certificates are with the Military Council Board. And now we have established a clear case of false information. My brother, if you go to section 33 or 35 of the Electoral Act, once you provide false information, it's a pre- and post-election litigation weapon. Your candidature stands nullified. And let me draw your attention to a recent judgment of the Supreme Court. In the case of Modibo, the APC House of Rep member from Yola North, Yola South.
But let me just quickly ask you, what exactly did the petitioner ask? What exactly the petition? I thought what exactly the petitioner said was that the petitioner alleged that the president was basically, by qualification now, academic qualification, not qualified to contest the election, and not whether he lied on the...
Both two issues, maybe you didn't read maybe you're reading even the closing address of the position. Both the issue of non-qualification and the issue of false information, we are all intertwined, they're all brought together before the tribunal. And let me inform you, when he said he has school certificate, which is what he filled, and then he made an affidavit that this record are with the military council. And we proved that those records, okay, let me ask you, how did we not call evidence of trying to bring in the video evidence of the military council that the tribunal turned down? It was in trying to prove our case, that what the president said he had when he filled from CF001, that he did not have it. We are not challenging whether he was qualified to contest the office of the president. That is not even the major issue. The major issue is that that information is a false information. And going by the Supreme Court judgment that was delivered 4 weeks ago, or a month, and that I told you about, Justice Inyang said that once you provide a false information in your form CF001, is automatic disqualification. And that was how the election, let me finish, that was how the election of the House of Rep member for Yola North was nullified. And the person that came second, which is the PDP candidate, declared winner. We had expected that that alone was enough for the tribunal to nullify President Muhammad Buhari's candidature and declare the second runner-up, which is Atiku Abubakar, the winner of the election.
So what then would form the grounds of appeal now to the Supreme Court?
There is a lot of grounds of appeal. First of all, there is issues of non-evaluation of some of the evidence. There is poor evaluation of the evidence. There is contradictions we will seek to set aside. We will seek to bring in the validity of the evidence we deposited that it has to do with the evidence from the Military Council Board. We will also have to bring in the issue of the witness that Buhari brought in that said they didn't deposit their documents with the Military Council. We're going to bring that in and want the Supreme Court to attach value to it. We're also going to inform the Supreme Court that after we called all our witnesses and they cross-examined them, especially the presiding officers and the ones who helped us to prove that there was tampering with electoral figures and there was violence, which INEC did not call a witness, meaning that they have accepted our deposition. We expect the Supreme Court to attach value to it, because having proved our case beyond all reasonable doubt, much is not expected of us, since INEC refused to call witness to controvert on oath those evidences by calling their own INEC officials to disprove what we said. These are things we are going to ask the Supreme Court to look at, attach value to them, even by virtue of election being marred by corrupt practices, which we prove. That's enough to order a fresh election, even if you don't want us to declare us winner. Even by the, and why we have hope is that the Supreme Court 5-man panel that sat in the Adamawa case is still alive. We'll be expecting them to do the same thing they did in the Adamawa case. That the are you saying there will not be consequences for false information? That the consequences for that false information, which is outright candidature disqualification, will be invoking it at the Supreme Court. But I want to let you know this: the nation would not have been at this crossroad if President Muhammad Buhari had been man enough to sign the amended Electoral Act. For the first time, we saw a man that was jittery after claiming to be a man of integrity. Ordinarily put your pen on the Electoral Act. He ran away from it, and that's why we're in this mess.
I understand your point. So basically, you're very confident that you're going to get victory at the Supreme Court.
We are very confident that the Supreme Court, because the judiciary is on trial, they will do the right thing and affirm the election of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. That is the only way the country can even move forward, because you know the situation of the country now. We are in serious mess.
Now, let me just quickly ask you, by way of diagram, are you a member of the PDP?
No, I'm not a member of the PDP. I'm the national chairman of the Action People's Party, APP. I'm a member of the CUPP by virtue of the coalition agreement to sign some 7-8 months ago that brought 56 parties together, including the PDP, upon which Atiku is our consensus candidate.
You sound you even sound more than the way a PDP spokesperson would sound.
No. I am anything that is outside the coalition interest. I don't get involved in that. I'm speaking in defense of the candidature of Atiku Abubakar, not because I'm a PDP member, but because he is the consensus candidate of the entire parties in the coalition, which I'm a member. Yeah, by the time we are done with the Supreme Court, you may not see me speaking on these issues.
Okay, all right. Ikenga Ugochinyere, spokesperson, CUPP. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have another opinion on this same subject. On DEJI 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that
The girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
DEJI 360, providing clarity to issues.